Precision crafted performance for Acura is at the heart of everything that we do.
What you are about to see is not just the right product for where we are taking the Acura brand. It's the right product at just the right time for today's market, presenting the first in a new generation of Acura products. It is my pleasure to introduce the all-new 2019 Acura RDX prototype.
Jeff Palmer with the Temple of VTech. We're here in the 2018 Detroit Auto Show, standing here with Steve Hansen. Steve is the LPL, is that correct?
That's right.
For the 2019 RDX. We're standing in front of the beautiful new RDX prototype, which is very close, my understanding is very close to what we're going to see in showrooms within 6 months or less.
Yep, this summer. It'll go on sale this summer.
Going on sale this summer. So, very first iteration of the precision design language in the full. I mean, we've done a couple Acura models with refresh and kind of reskin them to adopt some of the look, but this is the first ground up design, is that correct?
That's correct. So we start with the grille, with the diamond pentagon grille. The headlights, yeah, we'll start with the front. As well as the headlights with the swoosh, the daytime running light. Then it just wraps around the side of the car, and the surfacing down the body, down both sides with the cross lines, just really gives it a dynamic feel. And then that just wraps around and culminates at the back of the car at the tailgate.
Now, do you have any special terms for this type of surfacing? You know, I've heard of flame surfacing in the past from other automakers. Do you guys have any special name for that?
Internally, we've been calling it the cross-body surfacing.
Okay, cross-body surfacing. And I noticed there's some surfacing elements here in the hood, which I believe we've seen some of this in the new RLX and similar, correct?
That's right.
Okay. So we have, of course, jewel eye headlights. Is there anything new to talk about there?
No, we've just increased the number of jewels from 5 to 7, and the new design. This is an all LED front headlight now, also the daytime running light and turn signals. They're all the LED system.
And this car, the show car, has I see 21-inch Goodyear tires and rims. Is that something we're going to see in production, or are we just doing this for show?
Yeah, the wheels and tires, those are show car, but we will have large tires for production. Okay. Not quite 21.
And under the hood of this particular car, there's a 2-liter turbocharged engine coupled to a 10-speed automatic transmission of Honda's design. And you have a brand new SH all-wheel drive differential unit, is that correct?
That's true, yes. The basis of the engine, right, started with the Civic Type R. It's basically that same family, that foundation engine. Then just recently introduced also in the Accord, which, by the way, as you know, won Car of the Year.
Yeah, congratulations to Honda.
Thank you. It's made it to the 10AT, which is also in the Accord and the Odyssey, but in those versions, it's just a two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive. This also has the four-wheel drive variant, as you mentioned, and we're bringing back SH all-wheel drive to the RDX, replacing that from the previous system. With that, we can send more torque to the rear of the vehicle. Let me back up. We'll start with the engine, right? The engine gives you that torque.
Right.
Less than 2,000 RPM, you'll be at max torque out of the engine, and that's 40% more than the current V6 engine. Then goes through the transmission, through the transfer, to the prop shaft, to the back, to the rear diff. The rear diff is new. Some of the changes there to handle the extra torque that's being transferred to the rear, we need to increase the size and the capacity of that.
Okay, so the overall diff is actually physically a little bit larger than before, and it's also higher capacity?
It is, that's true. The concept with the torque vectoring, that's all the same. That's not changed.
And we're still hydraulic clutches?
Yes.
Okay. And you say we have a lot of torque now, and all of it's available under 2,000 RPM. What about the horsepower? I know the V6, it's currently in the RDX is, what, 280 horsepower? Are we still in that same ballpark?
We are. It'll have more power than the Accord does. We don't have the final numbers to release yet. We're still in the final spec testing. Those numbers will be released as we get closer to production this summer.
And I'm assuming it's going to be designed for premium fuel?
Yes, yes.
So that's where part of the additional power and torque probably comes from?
That helps, yes.
Right. Okay. Are there any other key differences between this and the Accord or the Civic Type R motor, like turbocharged trim, anything like that you can talk about?
Essentially, the Accord is a little bit more refined than the Civic Type R, and this follows suit with the Accord with that refinement.
So you have the balancer shaft.
That's right, that's right.
Okay. The SH all-wheel drive, is that tied to specific trims? Is it only on A spec? Is it Type S? Is it available? Is it just an option in every trim? How does that work?
Yeah, so the SH all-wheel drive will be available on each of the trims. And each trim will also come with the two-wheel drive variation as well.
And now, is there any difference in the output between all-wheel drive version and the two-wheel drive, or is it the same spec?
It's the same spec, yeah.
Exterior-wise, is there anything you'd like to point out? I mean, obviously these are probably the show car mirrors. We're not going to see those in production.
Right. Those are much smaller.
Yeah.
Basically to take away from not to distract from the look of the car, just at the auto show here. They'll be full-size production mirrors.
Okay. That's probably about the only exterior difference, really, right?
Yeah, the wheels, and this color is unique as an Acura show car color. But we will introduce, I believe it's a total of 9 exterior colors, with a brilliant red being one of those choices.
Is that the same red that's on the new RLX?
Yes.
Okay. So it'll have a slight price premium?
Yes.
All right.
I guess the platform too. This is exclusive for Acura.
Thank you for bringing that up.
We started from the ground up with this one. Actually, we started with the CRV, but we set high performance targets. And with the output of the engine, this engine's not available in the CRV. We slowly learned that it became a unique platform. That wasn't our intent, but in order to achieve the dynamic performance, the NVH performance, we needed a stiffer body, more rigid, to achieve those targets.
I was speaking to somebody a few weeks ago, and my understanding is like some of the middle section may be somewhat common, but everything on each end is all completely unique.
Yeah, if you didn't know what you were looking at, parts side by side, you might think they're the same parts, but in actuality, they are different.
Okay. So will this platform spawn any other models in the Acura line?
I can't talk about future products, but it's very, very likely.
Okay. All right. And interior-wise, I saw it's 2.5-inch longer wheelbase. What about the interior volume? What kind of changes are we seeing there?
Yeah, so we haven't got the final numbers on the actual space, but with the longer wheelbase, we were able to increase the second row knee clearance to the seat. It's a true 5-passenger. We don't have the center tunnel running down either, which took some ingenuity with the layout and the design of the prop shaft.
Okay.
A lot of the competitors will have a very tall tunnel that if you're sitting in the second row center, you got to straddle, and then there's no room for your feet.
Yep.
If you have people on outboard sides also.
Okay.
But with this platform, we're able to take the wheels and we pushed them wider.
Yeah, 1.2-inch wider track, correct?
Yes, that's right, 1.2. We pushed them to the front and to the back by shortening the overhangs. Because really the dynamics of the car starts with the styling, starts with the proportions. Just the stance and the look was real important. So that's kind of also what led us to this exclusive platform.
Now, where are we on like overall length and height and width? I assume the width went up if the track went up 1.2, but what about the height and the length?
The height's the same, and with the wheelbase increase, the length is slightly longer, but the height is the same.
Okay. So overall, interior volume's got to increase somewhat.
It is larger, yes, it's larger.
I guess we can talk. You can talk if you don't mind, giving us a little description of the rear, and I see you got kind of a floating pillar.
Yeah, there was a lot of work that went into what that D-pillar area was going to look like. That's probably the one area of the car where we did go through the most number of iterations, a trial of error, looking at it and saying, no, that's not quite right. And finally, this is the design that we came up with the chrome just running across the top of the glass. We've got the black across the bottom, but then the chrome at the back here just has a little bit of a detail, a little bit of accent to give it a premium feel. Also, you can see that from this angle, the body surfacing, how it wraps around the back and culminates here into the taillight design. And we got a little creative there with the bottom of the LED and made a little bit of a dragon tail to it.
Oh yeah, I see that.
It gives it a little bit of an attitude.
Right, and we're not covering the interior yet, but if you just look at the door panel, you can see the open pore real wood panel there, and all the metal, true metal accents with the metal speaker grill and the mid-range driver at least. The lower grill is still plastic, but that was another important thing, was bringing the level of the materials up on the inside, correct?
We did, yeah. The leather material, some of the trims that'll have aluminum will actually be aluminum trim, and the top trims that have the wood, that'll actually be the open pore natural wood.
And now this is a good chance we can talk about the cargo area if you like.
Sure. We started with a really good car.
Yeah. There we go.
The current car, as far as its utility, is fantastic. So we really didn't want to change too much on that, but we were challenged, how can we make it better? And one of the things that we did do is really cleaned up the back, made it more premium. All colors will come with the black cargo area. Much better, easier to keep clean, or looks clean.
Little skid plates here.
Right, we've got some metal accent trims here. And then what we do have that the rest of the industry doesn't is we have additional underfloor storage. Your briefcase, jumper cables, things you want out of sight, snow brush,
Yep.
very popular this time of year. And then we even go beyond that.
Oh,
And,
I didn't even notice that. Nice.
You have your jack or tire repair kit on the right side, and additional storage on the left side.
So the preview, I didn't bother lifting it up to see there's another storage zone there. That's nice.
To keep some surprises for you.
Yeah, there you go. Surprise and delight me. Cool. And then
As
you
well
still have
as-
the quick fold seats here.
Quick fold in prototype form.
Right. There you go.
We eliminated the step that existed between the cargo floor and the back, and we closed up the gaps. So
Right.
it's much easier and convenient to load cargo
Without having it.
going in and out. Yep.
Yep. And this is an adjustable height also, right?
That's right. You can set it to the position that you like, and then you push and hold the button, and then that's the memory for the next time that it opens. It sets to that height. Also available, we'll have the motion sensor. We swipe your foot underneath the kick sensor. Yeah, swipe your foot underneath the bumper.
Now is that in all of the trims, or is that
That'll only be on select trims.
Okay. But they all have power tailgates?
Yes,
Okay.
power tailgate is standard.
I see. And the panoramic moonroof is, according to the press release, is standard in all of them?
It's standard. Every car from the base trim on up will have the large panel roof.
All right.
It's also, we went really wide with the roof as well. We
Right.
wanted to really give that open air feeling inside the vehicle. And some of the competitors that we sat in, we just didn't feel that the glass was positioned appropriately, that where the driver and front passenger could get the open air experience. Of course, in the second row, you can get that in many other cars, but
Right.
we really wanted that feeling in the front, so we really went wide, which was a challenge for the engineers to get the body integrity there to meet the performance stiffness that we had for the dynamics, as well as the safety for the crash.
Okay. All right. Well, before we move into the interior, is there anything else you'd like to point out while we're standing? I see two nice size exhaust outlets here. We're getting exhaust pipes back at Acura. It's great.
Yes, so these are the show exhaust finishers. There will be exposed exhaust finishers on the production versions, yes.
Maybe not such large bore.
Correct.
Okay.
But we will have an A-spec,
Okay.
so maybe they'll have a larger bore on the
It'll have
on the
8
tailpipe.
exhaust tips. 4 on each side, right?